Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. I am incredibly pumped for today's breakdown because we're doing something a little bit different and honestly a lot of fun. Today, we aren't just looking at your run-of-the-mill workout. We are diving into the exact visual and physical blueprint required to construct a premium cinematic arm-building workout. We're looking at a source that takes the grueling physical mechanics of muscle hypertrophy and merges them with the ultra-high-definition aesthetics of a top-tier fitness commercial. So get ready because we're unpacking the sweat and the screen direction all at once. Want bigger and stronger arms? Follow this complete workout. That right there is the exact opening line delivered by our hypothetical, highly muscular trainer. I mean, just picture him, front and center, veins popping, actively flexing his biceps to set the absolute perfect commercial-style tone for our source material. It's a high-energy hook, right? It's designed to grab your attention instantly and promise a tangible result. It tells us right out of the gate that we're dealing with high stakes, high energy, and a highly structured path to success. All right, let's get right into section 1, the cinematic gym setup, setting the stage. Okay, let's dive into this. Because look, before we even think about touching a single dumbbell, we have to set the scene. The environment is just as critical to this blueprint as the exercises themselves. We aren't in some dusty basement gym here, okay? We're in a modern, luxury facility. And notice the lighting instructions, bright lighting, but specifically with dramatic shadows. Why? Well, because shadows carve out and highlight all those highly detailed muscles. The trainer is directed to wear black compression gear, giving this sleek, distraction-free silhouette. And the pacing of the visuals? It calls for a dynamic mix of slow motion and fast-paced edits. Basically, before a single rep is even completed, the whole room must absolutely scream premium fitness commercial to lock in that motivational vibe. Moving right along to section 2, the bicep building block, the functional payload. So now that our aesthetic stage is perfectly set, let's transition over to the actual functional payload of this workout. We're getting into the mechanics now, and it brilliantly illustrates this deeply structured, logical approach to training volume. We kick things off with the barbell bicep curl, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. That is your foundational, heavy mass builder right there. Then we pivot to the dumbbell hammer curl for 3 sets of 12, which shifts the focus slightly over to the brachialis and forearms. Next up, the incline dumbbell curl, which puts the muscle in a deep, stretched position. And finally, we finish the whole thing off with the cable bicep curl for slightly higher reps, around 12 to 15, to isolate the muscle completely. It's a textbook, beautiful progression from heavy free weights straight down to high-rep cable isolation. But you might be wondering, how exactly does this build our visual narrative? Well, the instructions here don't just dictate the weight you lift. They actually dictate the camera focus. During those barbell curls, the instruction is incredibly strict. Focus on full range of motion and control. During the hammer curls, the camera needs a tight close-up on the forearm engagement. Those incline curls are specifically chosen to visually highlight the full bicep stretch. And the final cable curls demand constant muscle tension with these agonizingly slow repetitions. So the key takeaway here is that these cinematic camera directions are specifically calling for a focus on stretch and tension to build a visual narrative of muscle fatigue. You are literally watching the muscle break down and work on screen. Which brings us to section 3, triceps activation, building real mass. Okay, we've pumped up the front of the arm, but any experienced lifter out there knows where the actual size lives, right? Let's keep the momentum going as we shift to the back of the arm, where the real mass is built. And just like with the biceps, we see this brutal efficiency in the progression. We start with the heaviest compound movement of the day, the close grip bench press, for 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps, designed to just overload the triceps with maximum weight. We follow that up with the rope triceps pushdown to really carve out the lateral head and the overhead dumbbell triceps extension to stretch the long head. But check out that final row, parallel bar dips, 3 sets to absolute failure. It all culminates in this powerful finishing exercise that leaves literally nothing left in the tank. And the form cues here are just as specific as the exercises themselves. You've got to emphasize triceps activation on the bench. Demand full extension at the bottom of the rope pushdown. But I really want you to look closely at that third point, slow eccentric movement during the overhead extensions. This phrase is absolutely crucial because it serves a dual purpose. A slow eccentric, the lowering phase of the weight, ensures maximum physical muscle breakdown for growth. But visually, oh man, it provides the perfect opportunity for dramatic, high frame rate, slow motion cinematography. The physical effort is literally feeding the camera. Now, notice the deliberate contrast in physical mechanics set up here. It's actually pretty fascinating. On one side, the bicep block is all about pulling movements, maintaining this constant grinding tension, and seeking a full muscle stretch. But on the flip side, the tricep block is characterized by heavy pushing movements, locking out into full extension and finishing with explosive power down to total failure. So the workout perfectly balances the pulling tension on the front of the arm with the pushing power on the back. For complete, well-rounded growth, it's physically balanced, which in turn makes it incredibly visually dynamic. And finally, Section 4, the motivational conclusion, the ultimate payoff. We've put in the work, the muscles are fatigued, the shots are captured. Now it's time to bring the tone back to an inspiring, cinematic feel as we reach the culmination of the blueprint. Train hard, stay consistent. Bigger arms are built, not born. The blueprint commands that this text be boldly displayed right on screen. Imagine the trainer completely pumped up, flexing both arms in front of the mirror, while the sweeping, motivational, cinematic music just swells in the background. It is the ultimate payoff shot. It reminds us that the physical result we're seeing on screen is the direct byproduct of the grueling work we just witnessed. And to bring the whole shebang home, we're left with the exact technical specs required to make this vision a reality. We're talking ultra-realistic 4K HDR, dynamic camera movements utilizing a shallow depth of field to keep your eye locked exactly on the working muscle. It calls for capturing macro sweat details and natural skin texture, all tied together with premium color grading. The ultimate takeaway from this explainer is the marriage of form and function. These highly effective, grueling physical mechanics are elevated into pure visual art through ultra-realistic aesthetics. So, what does this all mean for us? It really makes you rethink how you approach your own training, doesn't it? If building these massive cinematic arms is simply a matter of following a precise, perfectly directed blueprint, matching the right environment with the right mechanics and the right focus, what other aspects of your fitness journey are just waiting to be scripted? Take this high-definition, highly structured mindset with you the next time you step into the gym. Plan your sets, focus on your tension, and hey, maybe even imagine the cameras rolling. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I absolutely cannot wait to dive into our next topic together.